All right, so we're going to talk about a very, very important little corner of our training physiology and our strength profile that we're going to be putting a little bit of focus into. Now, this is something we can do at home or in the gym, and I want to talk a little bit about the overarching philosophy. So when we're in the gym, one of the things that happens, and this is definitely a cognitive bias that us trainers fall for, is we come in here and we go, all right, I've only got so much time, so I want to do the big movements like the squat, the lunge, the press, the pull-up, because it's using more muscle groups. And there's a general perception and a general belief that this is the best use of our time. And whilst that is important, not so much important, but whilst that is true to a degree, there's also nuance to it. And so what I want to show you guys today is a little routine or a protocol here that's going to work on smaller muscle groups that tend to get overlooked. And the muscle group I'm talking about is the calf complex. So the calf complex, we have the gastrocnemius, which is more of a phasic muscle group. So that means it has a predominance towards fast twitch fibers, so it gets used more for sprinting or jumping. And then in underneath that, so this flat muscle through here, is the soleus. Now this attaches onto the Achilles, and it's a very important muscle if we think about the anthropology model of how humans work. Our ancestors were prolific walkers. They would walk great distances. And the soleus in particular, with its slow twitch dominance, did a lot of work. Now, what happens in today's day and age, because we're lazy slobs and we don't do as much walking, is this becomes very, very, very deconditioned. And if we're going and building up our quads and our hammies and our glutes and everything else to be really strong, and then we're trying to transfer that into things like running and walking, but this is the weakest link in the chain, it doesn't matter how much work we've done on everything else, because that muscle group there is going to let us down. So we need to make sure we have a routine in place to keep this all-important muscle group, which is taking our whole body weight when we're on our feet. We need to make sure that this muscle group can do the job and bear that load, yeah? So the protocol I'm going to show you today can be done in the gym or at home, like I said. I like to do it behind the couch each night while I'm watching TV, because I can kind of lean on the couch. So first thing we're going to do is going to set up with our feet even. So just make sure we can set up with the camera. My feet are going to be facing forward. From there, just a little bit of balance, and I'm going to be working at calf raise. Keeping in mind that, like I told you, the soleus muscle is a predominantly slow twitch muscle group. So what that means is that it's a muscle of aerobic metabolism, and the time under tension to achieve a training effect for a tonic muscle group is 180 seconds time under tension. So with that in mind, we're going to do 150 reps. Each rep is a little bit over a second, so that takes us up into that 180 seconds. Once you've done that, once you've done your 150 reps, you might have to break it up a little bit as you go, especially in the early days. Your calves are going to be burning. So once you've done that, you're going to stretch it out, do about 30 seconds stretching on each side, and then you're going to get ready to go again. The next posture you're going to assume is just turning the toes out a little bit. From there, same deal. We're working our reps, pushing through the big toe and the ball of the foot, maintaining posture as we go. Once again, 150 reps. So we're accumulating a second lot of 180 seconds. Stretching out the calf group once you've done, then we have one third and final group to go. Turning the toes in, so we're pigeon-toed, and we're going for another 150. So by changing the foot position, we're working into different muscle fibers throughout that calf complex. Now, a couple of really interesting things happen when you do this regularly. If you're a runner or somebody who's struggled with foot problems, so plantar fasciitis, Achilles tendon issues, or maybe recurring calf strains like this guy, you will find that all those issues disappear very quickly. Not only do we build a little bit of resilience into the calf, because the calf complex is a very avisceral muscle, that means there's not a lot of blood flow to it. We're pumping blood flow into the area and increasing the resilience of that muscle group. Now, the other thing that starts to happen is a lot of those foot problems go away, because this action of standing up on our toes, we're training all the muscles through the foot as well. So those plantar fasciitis issues go away. Sever's disease and all these other inflammatory type issues, they're just issues of your feet not being strong enough to carry the load of the body. There's one other more nuanced thing that happens. In your feet, there's a whole heap of proprioceptive cells. And the first thing that happens when you get out of the bed in the morning is your foot hits the ground and those cells start to send information throughout the whole body. It's giving feedback, it's telling your body how you feel, how stable you are, how strong you are. And if those foot muscles are weak and they're not well trained, the message that's going throughout your body is one of, hey, we're not very stable, we don't have a good grip on the ground, tighten everything up. And so systemic flexibility throughout the body is dependent to a degree on what's happening at the foot. So by training the foot to become stronger, the proprioceptive feedback that starts getting sent through the rest of the body is a message of, hey, everything's good, you can just relax a little bit. And so what we get is systemic flexibility increases. Your hips are going to feel better, your back is going to feel better, your shoulders are even going to feel better as a result of training that lower part of the body.